Hello, everybody. It's currently 6:46 a.m. Your boy stayed up all night because couldn't sleep. But we're about to read Leviticus 15 and 16. I'm trying to finish Leviticus by Wednesday. So if I keep reading every day, I should be on a straight shot. This is Exodus. Why am I going backwards here? Okay. We're gonna be in Numbers for a while after Leviticus. Just I'll let you know. Oh, okay. 15, 16. Yesterday's readings were long, and my hands are so how you after you get out of the shower, they are I can't even turn the pages. Okay, you guys ready? I don't even have this ready. That's how unready I am this morning. Sorry, boys. All right. Okay. This sounds gross. Not gonna lie. Okay. Leviticus 15. Discharges causing uncleanliness. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when any man has a bodily discharge, the discharge is unclean. Whenever it continues flowing from his body or is blocked, it will make him unclean. This is how his discharge will bring about uncleanliness. Any bed the man has discharged, or any bed the man with a discharge lies on will be unclean, and anything he sits on will be unclean. Anyone who touches his bed must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean until evening. Whoever sits on anything that the man with a discharge sat on must wash his hands and bathe with water, and he will be unclean until evening. Whoever touches a man who has a discharge must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean until morning, or until evening. If the man with a discharge spits on someone who is clean, the person must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean till morning, or till evening. I don't know why I'm saying till morning. Everything the man sits on when riding will be unclean. Whoever touches any of the things that were under him will be unclean till evening. Whoever picks up those things must wash his hands and bathe with water, and he will be unclean till evening. Anyone the man with a discharge touches without rinsing his hands with water must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean till evening. A clay pot that the man touches must be broken, and any wooden article is to be rinsed with water. When a man is cleansed from his discharge, he is to count 7 days for his clothes, and bathe himself with fresh water, and take 2 doves or 2 pigeons, and come before the Lord to the entrance to the tent of meeting, and give them to the priest. The priest to sacrifice them, the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. In this way, he will make atonement before the Lord for the man because of his discharge. When a man has an emission of semen, he must bathe his whole body with water, and he will be unclean till evening. Any clothing or leather that has semen on it must be washed with water, and it will be unclean till evening. When a man lies with a woman, and there is an emission of semen, both must bathe with water, and they will be unclean till evening. When a woman has her regular flow of blood, the impurity of her monthly period will last 7 days, and anyone who touches her will be unclean till evening. Anything she lies on during her period will be unclean, and anything she sits on will be unclean. Whoever touches her bed must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean till evening. Whoever touches anything she sits on must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean till evening. Whether it is the bed or anything she sits on, when anyone touches it, he will be unclean till evening. If a man lies with her, and her monthly flow touches him, he will be unclean for 7 days. Any bed he lies on will be unclean. When a woman takes a discharge of blood for many days at a time, other than her monthly period, or has a discharge that continues beyond her period, she will be unclean as long as she has discharge, just as in the days of her period. Any bed she lies on while her discharge continues, will be unclean. As this her discharge continues, will be unclean. As is her bed during her monthly period, and anything she sits on will be unclean, as during her period. Whoever touches him will be unclean. He must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be unclean till evening. When she is cleansed from her discharge, she must count off 7 days, and after that she will be ceremonially clean. On the 8th day she must take 2 doves or 2 young pigeons and bring them to the priest at the tent of meeting. The priest will sacrifice one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. In the way he will make atonement for her before the Lord for the uncleanliness of her discharge. You must keep the Israelites separate from things that make them unclean, so they will not die in their uncleanliness for defiling my dwelling place, which is among them. These are the regulations for a man with a discharge, for anyone who made unclean by an emission of semen, for a woman in her monthly period, or a man or a woman with a discharge, and a man who lies with a woman who is unceremonially clean. I'm telling you guys, don't be scared to eat pork, or don't be scared to eat or get tattoos. If you want a tattoo, as long as it's not crazy, I don't think God really cares, because these laws that they're stating, it says not to eat pork a chapter ago. That law is on the same level as this one, which is saying after your period you have to have a burnt offering of 2 doves. Yes, these were for the people back then, but now it's different. The Lord died for our sins, so why would we not eat pork? I mean, unless you don't want to, unless it's health reasons. Why do you not want to eat pork? Or don't feel bad if you eat pork, or if you get a tattoo, or if you do all these things, except for some of the bad ones, because these laws are for thousands of years ago, and they're specifically for the Israelites. Just as I said yesterday, after you give birth, you don't go and sacrifice a lamb anymore. You don't do that. Nowadays, I mean, that'd be 24 a year. We'd run out of doves if women are still doing that. I mean, there's 4 billion. That'd be if everyone followed this, that'd be 8 billion doves every month, right? Because 8 billion, half is women, 1 month. Yeah, isn't come on, it's just bloody daft, as my nana would say. Just don't be crazy disappointed if you do if you get a tattoo, or unless it's really bad that you need to cover it up, a freaking what are they called? It's the star thing. I forget what it's called. A pentagram. Unless it's that, if you get a cross tattoo, if you get your son's name or your mom's name, God's not going to hate you. I think it's actually fine. I don't know. They were talking about this on my Bible meeting, but it was these are the laws from back in the day. Who cares what you do now? The Lord died for our sins. He gave us a new set of rules that we will get into. But, don't go crazy if you don't follow these. That's just the point I want to get across again. Alright, last chapter. Leviticus 16, the Day of Atonement. The Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aaron, who died when they approached the Lord. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell your brother Aaron not to come whenever he chooses into the most holy place behind the curtain in front of the atonement cover on the ark, or else he will die, because I appear in the cloud over the atonement cover. This is how Aaron is to enter the sanctuary with a young bull for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. He is to put on the sacred linen tunic with linen undergarments next to his body. He is to lie the linen sash around him and put on his linen turban. These are sacred garments. So he must bathe himself with water before he puts them on the Israelite community. He is to take 2 male goats for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. Aaron is to offer the bull for his own sin offering to make atonement for himself and his household. He is to take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of the meeting. at the entrance of the tent of meeting. He is to cast lots for the 2 goats, one lot for the Lord, and the other for the scapegoat. Aaron shall sacrifice it for a sin offering, but the goat chosen by lot as the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to be used for making atonement by sending it to the desert as a scapegoat. Aaron shall bring the bull for his own sin offering to make atonement for himself and his household, and he is to slaughter the bull for his own sin offering. He is to take a censer full of burning coals from the altar before the Lord, and 2 handfuls of finely ground, fragrant incense, and take them behind the curtain. He is to put the incense on the fire before the Lord, and the smoke of the incense will ceremonially atonement to cover the testimony, so that he will not die. He is to take some of the bull's blood, and with his finger sprinkle it on the front of the atonement cover. Then he shall sprinkle some of it with his finger 7 times before the atonement cover. He shall then slaughter the goat for the sin offering for the people, and take its blood behind the curtain, and do it as he did with the bull's blood. He shall sprinkle it on the atonement cover and in front of it. In this way he will make atonement for the most holy place because of the uncleanliness and rebellion of the Israelites. Whatever their sins have been, he is to do the same for the tent of meeting, which is among them in the midst of their uncleanliness. No one is to be in the tent of meeting from the time Aaron goes in to make atonement in the most holy place until he comes out, having made atonement for himself, his household, and the whole community of Israel. Then he shall come out of the altar that is before the Lord, and make atonement for it. He shall take some of the bull's blood and some of the goat's blood, and put it on all the horns of the altar. He shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with his finger 7 times to cleanse it, and to consecrate it from the uncleanliness of the Israelites. When Aaron has finished making atonement for the most holy place, the tent of meeting, and the altar, he shall bring forward the live goat. He is to lay both hands on the head of the live goat and confess to it all the wickedness and rebellion of the Israelites, all their sins, and put them on the goat's head. He shall send the goat away into the desert in the care of a man appointed for the task. The goat will carry on itself all their sins to a solitary place, and the man shall release it in the desert. Then Aaron is to go to the tent of meeting, and take off the linen garment he put on before he entered the most holy place. He is to leave there. He shall bathe himself with water in a holy place, and put on his regular garments. Then he shall come out and sacrifice the burnt offering for himself and burnt offering for the people, to make atonement for himself and for the people. He shall also burn the fat of the sin offering on the altar. The man who releases the goat as a scapegoat must wash his clothes, and bathe himself with water. Afterward he may come into the camp. The bull and the goat for the sin offerings, whose blood is brought in the most holy place to make atonement, must be taken outside the camp. Their hides, flesh, and offal are to be burned up. The man who burns them must wash his clothes and bathe himself with water. Afterward he may come into the camp. This is to be a lasting ordinance for you. On the 10th day of the 7th month you must deny yourself, and not do any work, whether native born or an alien living among you, because on this day atonement will be made for you, to cleanse you. Then, before the Lord, you will be clean for all your sins. It is a Sabbath of rest, and you must deny yourselves. It is a lasting ordinance. The priest who is anointed and ordained to succeed his father as high priest is to make atonement. He is to put on the sacred linen garments and make atonement for the most holy place, for the tent of meeting and the altar, for the priest and all the people of the community. This is a lasting ordinance for you. Atonement is to be made once a year for all the sins of the Israelites, and it will be done as the Lord commanded Moses. Jeez, this is going to be like all laws, I think. Punishments for sin, rules for priests. Okay, yep, which is cool. I mean, I do care, but, it's like, it's just a lot, like, it's like my mind gets lost while reading this, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me cross this off. How many more days do we have? 1, 2. 2 more days of Leviticus. So, thank you guys for being here. I actually gotta kind of rush, because I gotta go to school. But, thank you guys for being here. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. We're reading Leviticus 17 through 22. Huge read. Biggest read since Leviticus 1 through 7. So, hope to see you guys. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you. Bye.